Risk management is a structured process that enables organizations to identify, assess, and respond to uncertainties that may affect supply chain performance. The process begins with risk identification, where organizations systematically recognize potential events that could disrupt operations, finances, customer service, or strategic objectives. Risks are then categorized according to their source, such as operational, financial, environmental, geopolitical, technological, or supplier-related risks. Following categorization, organizations analyze the likelihood and potential impact of each risk and evaluate its significance relative to organizational objectives. Effective risk management concludes with selecting and implementing appropriate responses that balance risk reduction with cost considerations, ensuring resources are allocated efficiently while maintaining resilience and business continuity. Within supply chain management, risk, threat, and opportunity represent distinct but related concepts. Risk refers to uncertainty that can positively or negatively affect objectives. A threat is a specific type of risk that has the potential to cause harm, disruption, or loss. Conversely, an opportunity represents uncertainty that may generate beneficial outcomes or competitive advantages. Common supply chain risks include supplier failures, transportation disruptions, natural disasters, cybersecurity breaches, demand fluctuations, regulatory changes, geopolitical instability, labor shortages, and quality issues. Understanding these distinctions helps organizations develop balanced risk management approaches that not only mitigate adverse events, but also identify opportunities to improve efficiency, strengthen competitiveness, and create value throughout the supply chain network. Effective supply chain risk management emphasizes proactive actions designed to reduce either the likelihood of risk occurrence or the severity of its consequences. Proactive measures may include supplier diversification, inventory optimization, enhanced forecasting, cybersecurity controls, preventive maintenance programs, and business continuity planning. Organizations conduct scenario analyses and risk assessments to identify vulnerabilities before disruptions occur. However, even the most comprehensive preventive measures cannot eliminate all risks. Therefore, organizations must also prepare reactive response plans that can be activated when disruptions occur. These contingency plans may include alternative sourcing arrangements, emergency logistics solutions, crisis management procedures, and communication protocols that enable rapid response and recovery while minimizing operational and financial impacts. Supply chain resilience depends heavily on an organization's ability to anticipate, prepare for, and adapt to disruptions. Risk management contributes to resilience by helping organizations develop capabilities that enable flexibility, agility, and responsiveness. Resilient organizations continuously monitor internal and external environments to detect emerging risks and changing conditions. They maintain visibility across supply chain networks and establish early warning systems that facilitate timely decision-making. Risk assessments are regularly updated to reflect evolving business conditions, technological developments, and global market changes. By integrating resilience principles into supply chain design and operations, organizations can recover more quickly from disruptions, maintain service levels, protect stakeholder interests, and sustain long-term organizational performance despite uncertainty. Organizations often exhibit varying levels of maturity in managing different categories of supply chain risk. Certain risk areas, such as workplace safety, quality management, financial controls, and regulatory compliance, typically have well-developed processes, established standards, and extensive historical experience. In contrast, emerging risks such as cyber threats, climate-related disruptions, geopolitical instability, and complex multi-tier supplier vulnerabilities may be less mature and more challenging to manage effectively. The maturity of risk response systems depends on factors such as organizational experience, industry practices, regulatory requirements, and resource availability. Understanding differences in risk maturity enables organizations to prioritize investments, strengthen weaker areas, and develop more comprehensive enterprise-wide risk management capabilities. A successful risk management program begins with the development of a clear strategy and formal plan that aligns with organizational objectives. The strategy establishes the framework for identifying, assessing, monitoring, and responding to risks throughout the supply chain. It defines roles and responsibilities, governance structures, communication procedures, and performance measures. The risk management plan translates strategic intentions into actionable processes and guidelines that support consistent implementation across the organization. Effective planning ensures that risk management activities are integrated into operational and strategic decision-making rather than treated as isolated initiatives. This integration improves organizational awareness, enhances accountability, and supports a culture that recognizes the importance of managing uncertainty proactively. An essential component of risk management strategy is the establishment of risk tolerance, which defines the level of risk an organization is willing to accept in pursuit of its objectives. Risk tolerance varies among organizations depending on factors such as industry, competitive environment, financial resources, stakeholder expectations, and strategic priorities. Clearly defining risk tolerance helps guide decision-making by establishing acceptable boundaries for risk exposure. It also assists managers in prioritizing mitigation efforts and allocating resources efficiently. Without clearly defined risk tolerance, organizations may either expose themselves to excessive risk or spend unnecessary resources attempting to eliminate manageable risks. Appropriate risk tolerance supports balanced decision-making and strategic flexibility. Modern supply chains operate in increasingly interconnected and dynamic environments where risks can propagate rapidly across multiple organizations and geographic regions. As a result, risk management has become a strategic capability rather than merely an operational function. Organizations that effectively manage supply chain risks gain advantages through improved reliability, enhanced customer satisfaction, reduced disruption costs, and greater stakeholder confidence. Successful risk management requires continuous monitoring, collaboration with supply chain partners, regular review of risk assessments, and ongoing refinement of mitigation strategies. By combining proactive prevention, reactive preparedness, resilience-building initiatives, and clearly defined risk tolerance, organizations can strengthen supply chain performance and achieve sustainable competitive advantage in uncertain business environments.